Foul Manor by Trevor Lidke. Story 1. Open House. Chapter 2. The Grand Tour.
You're really excited, huh?
Asked Grace, inching closer to Ethan. I sure am, Ethan replied. I'm just so happy to be here.
So am I,
Grace smiled.
This is going to be so much fun.
Totally, Ethan exclaimed. By the way, I know I already said this, but it's great to meet all of you. A real pleasure already. Many thanks, said Yevgeny, chuckling awkwardly. Are you Mormon? Jeremy asked. Everyone turned to Jeremy and awkwardly stared him down. Amanda in particular was utterly baffled.
What are you doing?
She scoffed.
You just met this guy, and you're asking an insensitive question like that?
I mean, it's true, Ethan chuckled. I wear that badge with honor. Ah, Jeremy nodded confidently. Are you from Utah, then?
Did you really not listen to me?
Said Amanda, growing increasingly indignant. Again, I am, said Ethan.
You got lucky there, man,
said Patsy. I hope that's a double entendre, Jeremy said with a wink, leaning in.
Ew, no!
Patsy exclaimed, shoving Jeremy away. Hey, I'm just kidding around, said Jeremy, raising his hands in a surrender position. Jeez, come on, guys, get a sense of humor. Only when you get some social skills, Lance said flatly. Come on, guys, Olivia said quietly. Everyone turned to look at her, causing her to stare forward like a deer in headlights. We just met and She is right, said Yevgeny. This fighting is inevitable. We might as well wait until we get to know each other before we start. What? No, Olivia said softly. That's not what I'm really loving this display, said Dupovny as he stepped onto the porch. Trust me, I'd love to keep this going. Sadly, we can't. We have a tour to conduct. First off, let me welcome you to your new home. Dupovny gestured to the house in a sweeping motion. As everyone turned to look, Dupovny snuck a note card out from his suit, skimmed it over, then quickly shoved it back in. Welcome to the Manor, he said. Formerly known as the Callaway Estate, this house was the site of the former Louisiana tycoon Richard Callaway Sr. We bought this thing and spruced it up for modern living. Apparently.
I don't know how to feel about this,
Amanda said.
The fact that a historic landmark is being overhauled by corporate media bothers me, but the fact that a pillar of historic racism being removed is kind of a refreshing sight.
Maybe you are just trying too hard to be offended, Yevgeny muttered, just loud enough for Amanda to overhear. Before I let you in, I want to reiterate the rules of the game, said Dupovny. You eight will be living in this house facing the challenges of day-to-day life, as well as each other. Every 3 days, you will face some kind of challenge set up by yours truly. It pays to be both a host and a producer, you know? Of course you don't. Take my word for it, it's great. Anyways, if you ever wish to leave the show for whatever reason, you can up and leave at any time, tendering a note of resignation, like leaving a job. However, if you do that, you'll forfeit everything, including the grand prize, $1 million. At the end of the game, one of you will walk away with the grand prize. Who is it going to be? Only time will tell. Hold on, Lance interrupted. That still doesn't clear everything up. There's still a lot that... May I remind you that all questions will be answered at the end of the tour. Dupovny growled, giving off a suspiciously vicious tone. Seconds later, he snapped back to his sunny demeanor. Now, welcome to your new home. The double doors opened up, revealing a grand foyer with real oak wood floors. The large staircase stood to the left. The ceilings were high and expansive, looking as though they went on forever. Immediately in front of them was a hallway. Dupovny led them to the left, sending them to an expansive living room, with a kitchen right behind it. Despite the fact that the house itself was old, all of the appliances were state-of-the-art, the newest microwave, refrigerator, oven, TV, furniture, the works. This doesn't exactly fit with the historic theme, said Lance. Does it really matter, though? Ethan chuckled. Look at this stuff! Top of the line everything! Nifty! Nifty? Yevgeny sneered. Haven't heard of that one before. Jeremy ran over the couch, plopping himself down on it, immediately sprawling out. This is living, he sighed. This is going to be great.
Hey, move over, said Grace. The couch isn't all yours.
Oh, but of course, my lady. Jeremy smiled, readjusting his position, patting the seat next to him. Ignoring Jeremy's odd behavior, Grace sat down next to him.
Yep, this is a great couch, she said. But what's that weird smell?
I don't smell anything, said Jeremy. Lance walked over to the fridge while Dupovny continued shuffling through his note cards. Back turned to the others. Upon opening the fridge, Lance saw that it was teeming with food. A fully stocked refrigerator, he smirked. Not bad. Not bad at all.
Same with the pantry, Amanda added, standing in the doorway of a walk-in pantry.
Enjoy it while you can. This is the only time we're going to do your shopping for you, Dupovny explained. Each week you'll be given some house money to buy things with. Food, decor, clothes, whatever. Be sure to check in with the others before you spend. Money is one of the biggest things that can tear a group apart. Noted, Ethan chirped, perhaps louder than he intended. That's not all, Dupovny announced. I personally took the liberty of ordering you a full library of the best movies available. No sooner had Dupovny finished his sentence did Patsy run right over to the cabinet next to the TV and open the door. She grabbed a pile of 5 movies, quickly looking through them.
Let's see what we got here, she said excitedly. Jesse Dupovny in The Enchanted City? Jesse Dupovny is Kid Stryker? Lost in Burbank starring Chloe Myers and Jesse Dupovny? What the...
Jeremy and Olivia walked over, looking at the front covers, each one of them as confused as Patsy was. I don't get it, said Jeremy. Were you named after this kid or something?
That's him as a kid, Patsy replied. Thought that was kinda obvious.
I knew that, barked Jeremy. I was just... testing you.
You in the movies?
Olivia asked, tilting her head. Was I ever, said Dupovny, leaning his head back. I was the child acting sensation that was sweeping the nation. Not a person in this great country of ours didn't know me by name. I was the talk of the town.
Well, what happened?
Olivia wondered.
Why aren't you still making movies?
Well, Dupovny stammered. That's neither here nor there. Stocking the house with nothing but your movies? Lance asked. Might we have an ego problem on our hands? Never you mind, said Dupovny. Besides, we don't have time for that. We still have more to see. Dupovny led them down the other end of the hall. At the end, where the living room was on the other side, was a library. With the exception of the window, the walls were entirely comprised of bookshelves, stacked to the brim with books of all sorts, some old, some new, all incredibly thick. In the middle was a circular rug, with 3 leather chairs gathered around it. Now this is my kind of room, said Lance, who was already combing through the selection. Huckleberry Finn, War and Peace. I like what I see. With all these books, I should get through them in... maybe a month. Lance chuckled at the last part, but nobody else did. My head hurts just looking at this, Jeremy moaned. I'd expect nothing less from you, said Lance.
That's a little harsh, don't you think? Olivia asked shyly.
Lance ignored her, continuing to observe the books. According to my sources, said Dupovny, this library was where Mr. Richard Calloway spent his evenings. He would read and read while his, servants did the housework.
You mean slaves?
Amanda scoffed.
I didn't think you would try to gloss over your own history.
That's not my history, Dupovny replied. That was over 100 years ago. Besides, my family immigrated from Jamaica in the 50s. Way to assume, Yevgeny jeered.
It's always safe to rush to the defense of a marginalized people, Yevgeny, Amanda said while rolling her eyes.
If you like trouble, maybe, Yevgeny groaned. Enough of this room, then, said Dupovny. Let's check out some of the others. The rest of the downstairs rooms were equally as exciting for the others. There was a bedroom that was converted into an exercise room, a rec room with a pool table and a bar counter, and a small room that only had a single stool.
What's with this thing?
Grace asked.
Ooh! Ooh!
Patsy exclaimed.
This must be the confessional! This is where the contestants on reality shows go to express their innermost thoughts!
That just made my job easier, Dupovny chuckled. Now, on to the backyard. Wait, Jeremy shouted. I want to use this! Jeremy shoved everyone out of the confessional. Amanda shot him a dirty look, but it didn't make any difference. Jeremy slammed the door, then began. I'm so psyched to be here, man, he beamed. The guys here seem so cool. Oh, and the chicks, man. Tons of lookers here. Looks like I've got it made. Jeremy stepped out, now with all of the girls giving him dirty looks. What's wrong?
The walls aren't exactly soundproof,
Patsy replied. Yeah, well, what's wrong with that? Jeremy asked, rubbing the back of his head.
I pity whoever is going to have to room with you,
Amanda scoffed.
At least we're safe,
Grace chimed in.
Unless the rooms are co-ed. I hope not, said Olivia. Nothing against you guys, but, well, you know.
Don't worry, said Dupovny. All will be explained in due time. Now, unless we have any further delays, let's check out the backyard. Outside the sliding glass door was the grassy backyard. It was basically a small field with a patio in the front. On the patio was a fire pit and a hot tub. At the end of the yard was a slope that led down to a river. The water was smooth and still, but looked very deep. Is this where we are supposed to be swimming? Asked Yevgeny. If you're adventurous enough, I suppose, said Dupovny. Given that it's August, it's prime season to take a dip. It is Louisiana, though, said Liam. The water probably won't ever be as cold in the winter as it would be back home. Back where I'm from, Jeremy interrupted, the water is almost always fine. Even if it wasn't, I could handle it. I never get cold.
You haven't felt good water till you've been to Hawaii,
Patsy chimed in. This is where your first challenge is going to take place, said Dupovny. But more on that later. There's still the upstairs to take care of. Dupovny led them inside, up the massive staircase. They approached a long hallway. We're running out of time, so I'll make this brief, said Dupovny, finishing his last note card. From closest to us to furthest from us is laundry room, girls' bedroom 1, girls' bedroom 2, second bathroom, guys' bedroom 1, guys' bedroom 2, and storage room. At the end of the hall is the communal phone. You know, no cell phones allowed here after all. You'll have to use that corded phone hooked to the wall there if you want to make any phone call to the outside world. If you want the number, it's etched on the base. This is the only way to make calls, no exceptions. That's the house, your all-new home. Any questions?
When's the first challenge? Grace asked excitedly. I can't wait!
Keep calm, Grace, said Dupovny. This evening will be your first challenge. Don't ask what it is, you'll find out in due time. Anything else? Let me guess. Lance? That's right, Lance piped up. The rules of the game are still quite unclear. How long are we going to be here? It said in the description that it would be as long as needed. How long is that specifically? Self-explanatory, Dupovny replied. The game will be done when it's done. Don't worry, you won't miss any part of your lives back home because the game went on too long. Trust me. Fair enough, said Lance. How is the winner determined in this game? That's for me to know, and you to find out, Dupovny sneered. I see, said Lance. Well, how's about 1,000,000 questions with this one? Dupovny exclaimed. I knew you'd be an inquisitive man, but geez. When you have such vague explanations, this is to be expected, said Lance. If it's so vague, then why did you audition in the first place? Asked Yevgeny. Zing! Score one for Yevgeny, Dupovny exclaimed. Now, any other questions? No? Alrighty then. Time for your room assignments. Dupovny reached into his pocket, passed the note cards, and out came a set of 8 keys, each one with a number engraved on it. These are your room keys. Don't you lose 'em. We'll charge you for new ones, okay? Okay. We've already made your room assignments based off your personalities, interests, and whatever else. Room 1, Olivia and Patsy. Room 2, Grace and Amanda. Room 3, Ethan and Yevgeny. Finally, room 4, Lance and Jeremy. Dupovny passed out the keys. The disdain on Lance's face was quite clear.
Good luck,
Amanda whispered.
You're going to need it rooming with that guy and all.
Thanks, Lance grumbled, eyeing Jeremy, who was fixated on his key. With that, I'd better be off, Dupovny called out as he turned away. I'll see y'all tonight for the first challenge. No going back now, folks. Welcome to the game. Dupovny strode down the stairs, out the door, and back into his limo. The moment his seatbelt clicked, the limo pulled out onto the main road. Can't wait to see how this whole moving in thing's gonna go down, Dupovny muttered. Good thing HQ ain't too far away. Otherwise, I'd be kinda out of luck. Gotta see this all for myself. After 15 minutes of driving, Dupovny arrived at the Fowl Manor headquarters, a small gray ranch house in the middle of a small collection of farm homes. Nobody living in the other houses knew what was going on inside this one, nor would they ever find out if Dupovny had his way. Whack! The door flew open, smacking against the wall. Dupovny dashed inside like a bolt of lightning. Where the living room was supposed to be was a collection of monitors, each of which were focused on one room of the house. 3 engineers were sitting in the chairs, monitoring the screens. All of them were wearing headsets. "What do we got?" asked Dupovny. "A lot of good stuff so far," the first engineer said. "Before you say anything, yes, we've saved all the unpacking footage for you, sir. Check your email." Dupovny walked into what used to be the master bedroom, closing the door behind him. Up went the laptop lid, and sure enough, 4 new notifications appeared at the bottom of the screen. Each one had a subject along the lines of unpacking footage for room X. "Perfect!" Dupovny chuckled. "Now let's see how these misfits in a mix."